Yo, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. And today, since we hit 15,000 followers on Instagram, I'm going to be doing a Q&A. It's a new thing I'm going to be doing here on the YouTube channel every time I hit 1,000 followers on Instagram. So, for example, next time I hit 16K, or when I hit 16K, not next time, but when I hit 16,000 followers, I'm going to be doing another one of these. So it gives you guys a chance to ask me some questions, and it gives us a chance to connect from as a creator to the people watching behind the screen here. So, like I said though, there's like 50 plus questions here. I had to pick and choose kind of which ones to answer because a lot of them are kind of similar in terms of like trades and player interests and such. So with that being said, guys, let's get into this. Let's answer some questions. Make sure to drop a like in this video, subscribe, and turn on post notifications so you guys don't miss any of the future videos. And yeah, all the links are down in the description. Let's get into it. The very first question comes from Easy Money Micah. He says, how are we feeling about Jonathan Kamega? This is a great question because obviously since these questions have come in, there's been a lot of stuff surrounding Jonathan Kamega that's come out. The Suns and the Canes are the top two serious teams that are trying to pursue Jonathan Kamega. And I believe Grayson Allen was the offered player, or there's a package around Grayson Allen that the Suns sent to the Warriors. I just had a conversation about Jonathan Kamega today, since the news broke. I'm, for one, depending on the package and kind of what we get him for in the sign and trade situation, I'm all for it. Anything north of $25 million, I'm good. I don't really feel like Kamega's worth $25 or $25 million or more. But like I said, if we can get him for 25 or less, I'm all for it. There's a couple things about Kamega's game which, I don't watch all the Warriors games. I only watch them if they play the Suns, which, because I don't really watch any other NBA teams unless it's like a big game like the Celtics and Warriors, etc. He's not a great shooter. He shoots 30% from three. I believe somebody that I write articles and stuff in our little group chat that we have. I believe somebody told me he shoots 27% from the corner, which is kind of concerning considering, that's kind of where he's probably going to be, roaming the most. So for Jonathan Kamega, it kind of depends on the price, but if we could get him for, $25 million or less, I'm all for it. Anything north of that, I'm going to say I'm out on it. And it kind of depends on the package as well. Like if it's Dillon Brooks, Oso Ighodaro, and Nick Richards, I'm good. I feel like that's a lot. I feel like Dillon Brooks kind of fits the mold of what the Suns are trying to build here. I do like Kamega though. He would have a starting opportunity here in Phoenix at the power forward position. I know I believe he doesn't want to be a secondary option, but that kind of opens up once he comes to Phoenix, obviously. So like I said, I'm all for it. It just kind of depends on the situation. I'm not trying to spend $30 million on a guy like Jonathan Kamega that he really hasn't proven anything. And I know the CBA and stuff, it goes up, I think, 10% each season for contracts and stuff and pricing. So yeah, that's how I'm feeling about Jonathan Kamega. Next question comes from Ethan. He says, why does Bobo not get game time? That's kind of a good question. The past two seasons that we've had Bobo, I feel like the coaches have kind of left him out of the rotation, even if he's been performing pretty well. What is it? This last season, they benched him because he didn't get involved in a scuffle with Mason Plumlee and Steven Adams. Instead, he was shooting layups in the background, working on his craft. That's kind of something crazy, man. As a head coach, I feel like, that's a bad example to set. And sure, he didn't want to get involved in a scuffle, but what, is he supposed to get ejected? He's supposed to crash out? I don't think that was the real reason why they benched Bobo, and I don't know who exactly leaked that story, but if that is the real reason, my God, I hope Mike Budenholzer never sees the NBA ever again, or college, or high school. Next question here comes from Abram Bland 26. He says, what guard are the Suns trying to get? This question was, of course, from a couple days ago, but like I said, Suns made some moves. We have Jared Butler, and we have Jordan Goodwin. Now, a lot of people might not feel those are the best options for a point guard when there's guys like Russell Westbrook and etc. on the market, but hey, I'm all for it. I'm a huge Jordan Goodwin guy, and he fits what the Suns are trying to do this year, trying to be athletic and defensive, and he's still in his 20s. I think he's like 27, and that might be highballing it too. You might be younger, but I think Jordan Goodwin is like 27, so there's still a lot of youth are I shouldn't say a lot, but there's still some youth there. And Jordan Goodwin provides a lot. I wish we didn't get rid of him the first time we had him around. I don't know exactly what the reasoning was. It was like a weird off season, or I think it was the first year when we got the big three officially, and we got Metu, Keita Bates-Diop, Goodwin. Who else was it? Yuta Watanabe. I don't exactly remember why we waived him, but he's been playing great, I believe. I know the Lakers waived him because they had a clear room or whatever for the Marcus Smart deal, I believe. But yeah, I'm happy he's back. I think those two guys between Butler and Goodwin, I believe, are competing for the last spot in training camp. So that should be pretty competitive. I'm excited to see how that goes. But yeah, in terms of the guards, I'm pretty sure that's what the Suns are going to be doing. That's about it. And I wouldn't expect to see any more moves. And if something changes, but I think training camp is coming up here pretty soon. So yeah, this is probably going to be the final roster. This one comes from Max7. He says, who are you most excited to see this season, the Suns or the Cardinals? And will it be Will Johnson or Rasheer Fleming? So Will Johnson, I believe, is the rookie cornerback from Michigan that was drafted in the second round, if I'm correct. I could be wrong about that. I'm not really tapped in with the Cardinals, but probably the Suns. I'm not a Cardinals fan at all, and that's something you guys are going to find out later in this video, because there is a question that kind of asked me about my favorite NFL team, which will be revealed later on. But I'm excited for Rasheer Fleming and the Phoenix Suns, man. I think there's a lot of upside with our rookies that we drafted this year. And Rasheer Fleming, he didn't really play. How many Summer League games did he miss? I think it was a couple. I think he missed like 2 Summer League games. But when the games that he played, and he showed a lot of upside and potential, so I'm excited for that. And then this one comes from Chicken. He says, is Kamega to the Suns legit? I would say that it's pretty concrete if Shams is reporting on it. Same with Gambo. Very well respected Suns insider. Shout out to Gambo. I would love to get him on the podcast sometime. This next question comes from Ben here. He says, do you use the microwave to make tea? I don't even drink tea, bro. Decent, but it's pretty gross. I don't drink tea or coffee or any of that stuff. I just can't get behind it. Maybe sometime in the future, once I become an unk, I'll explore the coffee and tea world, but hey, not for me right now. We'll see. We'll check on that in a couple years. This next question comes from Broden. He says, how old were you when you started the channel? This is a question I'm very excited to answer, because I think this might shock a lot of you listening. Actually, maybe not. If you've been tapped, if you're like an OG, I don't know if I've ever revealed my like actual age on here, but you can probably tell through my tweets and how I act. I'm 19. I started this page. I'll just start with when I started the page. I started the page in my sophomore year of high school. So what is that, like 15 going on 16? So yeah, I think I was like 15 when I started it. And I don't think I really started the YouTube thing until I was like 16. So, which is kind of crazy. Because, and I never wanted to really reveal it until like I was obviously an adult for a lot of reasons, mainly because the internet's a weird place, and two, I didn't want to be like I don't want to be a like shortcoming of opportunities just because of my age and me being young. So I kind of kept it behind closed doors. But it was crazy though, because I was like I was like doing the same stuff I was now. Just kind of on a smaller scale, but I was still like communicating with NBA agents. I did a podcast with Terrence Ross, Archie Goodwin. I did something with him, Ish Wainwright. Like I did all this before I even got out of high school, which was absolutely crazy, and I'm blessed to have those opportunities. So yeah, I was like 15 when I started the whole worldwide page, but I think I didn't make a YouTube video until I was like 16 on here. So yeah, and of course I did mess around with YouTube before that too, but yeah. This comes from James. He says, what are your honest thoughts on the Suns roster management since 2021? Honest thoughts has been complete bullshit. Our front office, even though Matt Ishbale, we have a new owner, Robert Sarver had his thing going on there, but it's been kind of rough. Josh Bartlestein and his buddies have really fucked the Suns up and then put us in a really bad positioning where we're waiving and stretching Bradley Beal's contract, and we have to deal with that for the next five years. I don't know if it's like $20 million for the next 5 years or something like that. That could be right, or that could be wrong. I'm not too sure about numbers at the top of my head right now, but yeah, I think it's been kind of bad. But I will say one thing. The Suns have been trying to put good players around Devin Booker, and that's something that, I obviously take notice of. They've definitely been giving him, they've been trying to give him a roster that he could go and compete with and try to win a title with, but we just came up short, and we didn't get a chance to make the playoffs this past season. So yeah, it's been pretty bad, but hopefully things will turn around. Next question here comes from Jack. He says, what trades do the Suns worldwide sources think will be happening before opening tip-off? I haven't heard anything yet. I'm not going to really claim that I'm a source dude or a source guy at all, because I don't really want that. And I'm not going to sit on here and act like a lot of people on Twitter who have sources. So I don't really, if you see me ever speak on something that like you don't see anybody else speaking on, that's how like I feel confident in it. Like that's how confident I am. If I've received information and it's something that like I really trusted them. Like when I reported on some Bradley Beal like injury news over the past 2 seasons, that's about as good as sources I've got in terms of like just Suns worldwide sources. But I do hear some stuff about trades and signings, but I don't really like to speak on it unless I'm like 100% confident in it. But this next question here comes from AD. He says, what would you want in return for Grayson or Royce? In an ideal world, I'm not all for trading these guys. At the end of the day, it just kind of depends what the offers are and what the Suns are kind of looking for. If it was me, I wrote about this in an article. I believe I proposed a trade idea with Grayson Allen. I would trade Grayson Allen to the Orlando Magic and try to get Jonathan Isaac, mainly because the Suns don't have a true power forward on this roster. And I know the NBA it's a very modernized league. There's not really true positions anymore. It's just like wings, bigs, and then guard, combo guard, etc., stretch bigs. That would be somebody I would like, because I feel like we lack the power forward depth, and it kind of looks like Ryan Down is going to be the starting power forward this season, which I'm not against. A little bit of small ball action, but I just feel like we'd maybe match up a little bit better against teams if we had a bigger power forward. But obviously, if they do try to trade Grayson or Royce for Jonathan Kamega, I guess that's a very ideal package as well. And there's that power forward that I just mentioned there. So yeah. This next question here comes from Abraham22. He says, I think I saw you were a Giants fan. I thought I was the only Suns and Giants fan. Nope. And like I said earlier in this video, you guys were going to find out what my favorite team was. I am a New York Giants fan, unfortunately. But we do have a Super Bowl Cardinals fans, and we did beat you guys, I believe, this past season, or was it 2 seasons ago, the last time we played against the Cardinals. So, yeah. That was a lot of shots that I just threw out there. I just kind of emptied the clip for no reason. Next question here comes from Op. He says, are we making the postseason? A lot of people don't think we are, and they think we're just going to be like a fringe playing team. I have a lot of confidence in this team. I think there's a lot of, a lot of stuff that players on this roster have to prove, and I think a lot of people have a big chip on their shoulder coming into this next season. I think Jalen Green and Devin Booker are going to shock a lot of people, and the highest seed the Suns are going to be, I think, is going to be 6, but it's going to be anywhere between 6 and 10. I think we're a lock for a play-in team, but I think the chance of making it out of play-in and trying to be like a locked-in playoff seed, I think, is very possible. So yeah. The next question here comes from Barrio17. He says, favorite Suns memory. This is kind of hard to kind of like digest and kind of pick one specific one, because I think anyone's favorite Phoenix Suns memory, seeing them go to the NBA Finals, seeing them go up 2-0, eventually we lost, but I have a couple different ones. I think just to name a few is the 47-point game against the Lakers from Devin Booker. Close out the series in Game 6 after all the drama of the salsa dancing and the shimmies, and just there was so much shit talking going on, and just to see Devin Booker finally, after all the fucking backlash he gets, all the media narratives, just go on the big stage against LeBron James and the LA Lakers and beat him in the first round of the playoffs and put his name on the map and say, fuck you. That shit was awesome. That was the best freaking, that might be my favorite Phoenix Suns memory, honestly. Because I remember just years on years of just trying to tell people about Devin Booker and say, hey bro, you gotta watch out for this dude. I was debating with kids in my middle school class. I was locked in, and even before he was an all-star, I try to tell people, bro, you gotta believe in this dude. This dude's gonna be something special, and he is something special. And yet, in the span of 3 to 4 years, Devin Booker has gone from overrated. No, he went from underrated to overrated to underrated in a span of 3 to 4 seasons. How that works, I don't know. But hey, everything changes when it comes to Devin Booker. And of course, a couple other members as well. As the 40-point triple-double against the Clippers when Chris Paul was out. Devin Booker took over in Game 1, I believe. That was also amazing. Just the whole Western Conference Final Series was sick as well, because then we had the Valley Oop, which is very iconic. And then, I guess some months before that, I think, I'm trying to think here. Like, just kind of before we had the playoff run. Devin Booker making the All-Star game was sweet. The three-point competition, when he broke the record, which is now, I think, held by Steph Curry. That was such a sweet moment, bro, to see Book go out there on All-Star Weekend and just kill it. Because I believe he got snubbed again during All-Star Weekend, which, surprise, surprise, still happening to this day going into year 11. So, yeah. Next question here comes from Devin. He says, favorite rookie going into this season? It's definitely got to be Rasheer Fleming for me. I know the obvious answers are going to be Kamal Maluwak or Kobe Bryant for a lot of people, but I think Rasheer Fleming's going to shock a lot of people. And I wouldn't say shock, because I feel like a lot of people know his talent and were really shocked that he fell out of the top 20 in the NBA draft. I know I was. I didn't think he was going to be there in the second day of the NBA draft, so I was hyped when the Suns traded up and made that move, and they were really aggressive. So yeah, next question here comes from Unknown Zay. He says, have you ever met Devin Booker in person? Technically, yes. I haven't had like a full-on I haven't had a conversation with him, I should say, though. I don't know if I still have the video on my phone. If I do, I will include it in this video. But I did have the first ever Suns game that I went to, I believe, back in the 2021 season in Minnesota. First ever game I went to, Devin Booker did sign my jersey, and I manifested that shit too before I went. I was like, Devin Booker's gonna sign my jersey, this is gonna be hyped. And if I do have the video, I'll include it. But I was standing on like top of the tunnel there in the overhead where the railing is, and I kind of just like held the jersey down there. You know, I was very quiet, I was very respectful, I didn't like yell at Booker or anything. I just kind of held the jersey down, and then he was like, drop it. He didn't sign anybody else's jersey now that I think back on the moment, but he was like walking towards the tunnel or about to leave. He was walking out with security or whatever. And then he stopped, and, you know, I kind of got starstruck for a moment. I'm not gonna lie. And he was like, drop it. He said it like 2 times, and it finally clicked the second time. I was like, holy shit, Devin Booker's talking to me. So I dropped the jersey, and I gave him the marker. That shit was crazy. That shit really, like, I wish I had like the meta glasses. I wish those came out at the time, because that moment was absolutely like one-on-one. And if I do have the video, it's not like, you're not going to see like my point of view, but you're just going to see it from like the stands. But if I do have it, it's a very grainy video. It's not good quality at all, but it was just such a surreal moment, because I've been glazing Book since day one, but I haven't met Book in person. I mean, his team did send me the Nike Book 1 Chevy collab, so we've pretty much we've met Devin Booker without meeting him, but Book, we got to make this happen, bro. Been locked in. This next question comes from Basketball 49 Official. Somebody said, do you think Devin Booker is better than Shay Gil Alexander? I think Book's the best player in the league. So, next question. This is from fr.vero. He says, how did you become a Phoenix Suns fan? NBA 2K 13 I was. Yeah, NBA 2K13 was the first NBA 2K game I got. And it's a very simple, like, kiddish way that I became a fan. It's the same reason I'm a New York Giants fan. It's just the colors and the logo stood out to me. Just like the little, what was it at the time? I'm trying to think. Was it changed yet before they updated it to like the black like shape, and then it had like the Suns logo and it said Phoenix Suns? I'm trying to think. I'm gonna have to pull up the 2013 Suns logo real quick. I can't believe I don't remember this either. But it was definitely NBA 2K13. I believe that was the last season we had Steve Nash before he went to the Lakers, if I'm correct. I could be wrong about this. Yeah, so it was before they went to the black version of this logo. It was the purple filled in with the gray border, and then it had like just everything, the logo and everything just stood out to me. It was super sweet. It had nothing to do with the players at all. I didn't really get to I didn't really recognize the Phoenix Suns player until probably like 2015 or 2014. My fun fact, first like favorite player ever in basketball was Archie Goodwin. So when I did that podcast a couple of years ago, I was pretty freaking hyped. But yeah, then obviously here we are, almost a decade, what has it been, like 12, 13 years later? Freaking here we are talking about the Suns on a camera. So yeah, that's how I'm a Phoenix Suns fan. Pretty cool story. Nothing too exciting. Next question comes from Basketball 49 Official. They said, have you ever cried when the Phoenix Suns lost? Yeah. After the 2021 NBA Finals, bro. I'm not gonna lie. I wasn't like full on like bawling though. It was just like kind of some crocodile tears. I was like, damn, that hurt. It was like somebody like just fucking, I got shotgun blasted in the chest, bro. That sucked a lot. I think that's the only time. Yeah, there's probably more, but just like one of the notable ones, that's for sure, where I've bled off some tears. But yeah, next question here comes from Aiden. He says, what will you do if the Phoenix Suns win the championship? Now, I'm not one for smoking or drinking, you know, I'm not even of age to do that yet, but hopefully when the Suns do officially cross the finish line, you know, I get to enjoy those things. I'm gonna light up a cigar and pop some champagne, and I'm probably gonna have a rough night. I'm probably gonna throw up, but that's why we're gonna bulk up on bread and water, and we're gonna tough it out. Next question comes from PHNX1A. They said, how's Suns Geeks basement? If you guys don't know the lore behind this, you're missing out. It's pretty great. I haven't seen Suns Geek in like a year or so, but you know, he left me with some rations, so we are chilling. Yeah. With that being said, guys, that's all the questions. We've been here for 23 minutes. I'm going to be doing this again once we hit 16,000 followers on Instagram, so make sure to go follow up over there. And if you're not subscribed here, like I said, go ahead and do that so you guys don't miss out on any of these videos. I appreciate you guys tuning in. We're going to try to build something special here over the next year, and I fully, truly mean that when I say we're going to build something special here as a community. So thank you guys for tuning in. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace and love.